CM Tech. Testing. Give me a second. Tell me we're not rolling here. Brian, Jose, City Boy Reggie, we're in the chat. Hopefully it's working now. What's going on, everybody? Patrick over here at Ghost Picks, ATS, coming at you. Free play of the day. Oh, yeah, we're live. We're good. All right. Sorry about that. It's going to be a longer one today, but we'll get right on into it. Any games that you want to talk about, we'll throw them in the chat. This is a Game 7 day, so, there's all kind of games to talk about. We got 2 in hockey. We got 2 in the NBA. Couldn't be more excited. We'll talk about the Mavs and the Suns, and we'll also talk a little bit about the Celtics and the Bucks. The big play today is on the Celtics and the Bucks game, so stay tuned for that one. That is the premium play of the day. We'll get you some insight, though, some props. There's a lot that I like going on. Game 7s are my favorite to attack because you know who's playing, you know how much they're going to play for the most part. Coaches play a pretty safe hand. Starting right out of the gate, I'll talk about some of the most important things. First things first, NHL, we saw 3 for 3 on the unders yesterday. Bada bing, bada boom. Game 7 unders are a thing. But Vegas knows that. So usually the past 2-3 years, hammered playoff Game 7 unders in the NBA. I will not be hitting them near as hard, nor maybe at all. Last year, these numbers, the same exact ones were sitting at 214.5, 215.5, 216.5, and now they're down to like 205, 206. And people are still hammering those unders. It's like they're trying to catch on. So little insight there. Maybe stay away. Maybe, look for a specific number, maybe a quarter, maybe a half, maybe a player under if you're looking like that. So just some key insight there. Right out of the gate, I looked at these numbers, and first thing I was looking for was to hit the under. I was expecting a number maybe 212, 213, given how these numbers have been in the prior couple games. Right out of the gate, they opened 207, 208, and have gone down since then. So Vegas and the people out there thinking it's going to be under 200 in today's NBA. Tough one. It depends on fouls. It depends on referees. One thing about the Suns, if anybody knows the whole Chris Paul ordeal, like 0-17 in games that Scott Foster has officiated, maybe like 0-7, 0-8, 0-9, you'll start to be like, 17 games straight. So that'll be a major thing. If I say anything about the Suns and Chris Paul and Scott Foster, and it turns out that Scott Foster is refereeing that game, it's Mavs. It's Mavs all the way. I'm not afraid to say it. Let's throw all numbers out the window. Actually, maybe not even throw all numbers out the window. The most important thing is actually that they don't call fouls. Scott Foster eats his whistle, and guys like CP3, Booker, you see him every single play, hands up, complaining, and it's tough. It gets in the mental side of the head. You see that with Jason Tatum sometimes. Jason Tatum is one that's always got his hands up looking for a foul call in games where things are going his way. He's hot. He keeps rolling. He's one of the streakiest guys in the NBA when he's on his game. Like last game, Game 6, unbelievable. I actually thought that the Celtics had some of the ugliest offense, and it numbers back that in possessions where Jason Tatum switched onto the screen. The possessions took every single one of them was late in the shot clock and relied on one-on-one Jason Tatum pretty much just doing his thing. Outside of Tatum, there was really no option. So it'll be interesting to see how they adjust there and what they do. It's been a back-and-forth series. The road team in the Celtics Bucks has won outright 4 out of the 6 games. And probably the most important factor, in my opinion, is the Boston Celtics' inability to close. Take away Game 6 where Tatum did his thing, and it was a one-man show. The rest of the Celtics did not do. That wasn't a Celtics win. That was a Tatum win. I've never seen anything like it. My dad's a Celtics fan. He called me. I said, "Did you see Tatum?" My dad hasn't called me about a basketball game in years. Tatum, what he did was unconscious. And if he puts up that effort again, obviously you probably expect them to win. But repeating that in Game 7 situation at home, he could even do that and, might come down to the wire still. Celtics played a pretty damn good game for 3 quarters, and then all of a sudden Bucks had that lead, and gave it away at home. We've seen that many times this series where everybody's kind of giving away leads and whatnot. So all these things take into consideration. I think there's some live lines to be had today, both sides of the equation. 3 years ago, it was 3 years ago in the bubble, I do believe it was the Jazz and the Nuggets. Nuggets came out, were getting absolutely smoked, and gradually just comes back. So first half, I think they were down 15, 16 points. They might have even been down 20, but hopped on a live line on that one. And, over the gradual course of the game, it's going to be physical, not many whistles blown. Blowouts in Game 7s are rare, especially, first round, you might see an extreme talent differential. Round 2, these teams are pretty damn even. Mavs and the Suns obviously has been a pretty weird series as far as, blowouts go. There's not many of the games have been close, so that's something to keep an eye on. But Bucks Celtics, for the most part, have been pretty close. And especially heading into the fourth quarter, where I've seen, I'll go ahead and say it, my favorite play of the day probably will be the Bucks fourth quarter. So that's the free play of the day. Hopefully, that's the insight. I'm not going to put that anywhere. That's a premium play. So enjoy that one. Hopefully, we're rooting for the situation. Celtics to be up 2 to 15 points heading into the fourth quarter, and it will be an all-out assault on the Bucks line, hammering that fourth quarter. I don't think the Celtics have anybody to attack. My main thing is Grayson Allen. He's the Ja Morant of this series. He's the biggest liability on the defensive end. And, that's all the Celtics have. So in the first half, you'll see it many times if he's in there. They attack Grayson Allen. They put him in the screen and roll. It's the same thing it's the modern-day NBA. It's the easiest way to play basketball. Spot out the worst defender, put him in a pick and roll, and make him work. That's Grayson Allen. It's been Ja Morant for the Grizzlies, and that's why I like the Grizzlies so much the past couple games, is because they've got 10 good defenders straight down the line. You can't switch. It doesn't matter. And that's how it is with the Bucks. When they bring in Pat Connaughton, when they bring in Wesley Matthews, and these guards, Drew Holiday is my favorite point guard in the NBA. I think I'd take him over anyone. I'd argue it to the death. The dude plays both ends. He can guard 1 through 5, shoots 3 free throws, strong, takes it to the rack, pretty much does everything that you need, and he's a hell of a wingman for Giannis. So if they get the opportunity in the fourth quarter, I will be hitting the Bucks, no doubt about it. Looking at some of the numbers that make me kind of point that out, the Grayson Allen numbers, when he's in the game, you cannot switch on defense. It's one of the main things in the NBA. If you can switch everything, you see it with Bam Adebayo in Miami. He switches on the guards more than anybody, and that is why he'd have the number one defense in the NBA. They attack. They're able to do that. Same with the Celtics, with Horford, Grant Williams. They all switch. When when Grayson Allen is out there, you can't switch. It's a hedge. It's a drop coverage. The center's kind of wheeling backwards, and in those possessions, the Celtics average almost 1.5 points per possession. That's absurd. That's looking like 140 points a game on average if you break it down that way. When you look at the Celtics versus switching, man-to-man switch defense for the Bucks, that drops to about 0.6 points per possession, which is about 75 points per game. So being able to switch 1 through 5 is one of the most important things in the modern NBA. And Grayson Allen, those kind of guys are exploitable. If you can't step up your thing, which has been, I say it about Luka, but Luka's been the best. He's improved just over the course of this playoffs dramatically on the defensive end. And I wouldn't be surprised to see it again tonight. They attack him. They attack Grayson Allen. And that's part of the reason the Celtics are so damn good. Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Grant Williams, Derek White, a little straight down the line, 1 through 7. They can all play defense. They can all switch. They can all do whatever. When the Bucks sit Grayson Allen is when they're at their best. He's played less in the second half. He's pretty much played none in the fourth quarter down the stretch of these games. I expect Grayson Allen I like Grayson Allen unders. If we're going crazy and you have FanDuel Sportsbook or something, you want to have some fun. Game 7s, the starters are going to play the majority of the minutes. I expect Giannis, Holiday, Tatum, Brown, 45, 48 minutes for these guys. So bench players, it's tight. if Grayson Allen gets beat early on, he could find a nice warm spot on the bench for a lot of the game. So his totals are sitting at 7.5 points, 2.5 rebounds, and I think 2 assists. I like him to go under 2.5 points, under 1.5 assists, under 1.5 rebounds. It's like 40-1 odds on FanDuel. But I mean, just under 1.5 rebounds is plus like 240. And, with a guy that I don't think is going to play a ton of minutes. Now, obviously, he could catch fire and hit like 4 threes early and maybe gain a few more minutes. But that's about the only way I see him playing. So that's my long shot of the day. Will be Grayson Allen, crazy unders, just in case he doesn't play at all. Wesley Matthews, Pat Connaughton, if you look at the numbers when they're in versus when Grayson Allen's in, defense is a million times better, and the offense doesn't really take that big of a hit. So Pat Connaughton rebounds will definitely be one I'm hitting today. My guy Patty C, he's a legend. So shoot, long-winded there. That was like 8 minutes of rolling. I'm very excited about that game. I think the second half of the Bucks is quite exploitable. So we'll be looking to hit that one hard. Heading on in, it's 11:50 Eastern Standard Time. There is one golf pick that I like today for the people. K.H. Lee over Charles Schwartzel. That's like even odds. That's minus 115 odds both ways. I don't see this being this is on just about every book, so should be easy to find. K.H. Lee over Charles Schwartzel in the Bryce Nelson Classic. Grayson Allen is the worst. I couldn't agree more, Greg. Grayson Allen sucks. So who knows? He could also just like trip somebody unintentionally, like right at the start of the game, and get kicked out before he ever gets any minutes. So he could finish with 0-0-0 for all we know. Grayson Allen unders. Bank. If he takes us to the bank, we'll maybe get him a nice treat. But golf, yeah, K.H. Lee over Charles Schwartzel. I said something about it on the Keep It Rolling pod. I like the South Koreans in Dallas or in Texas. This is where their junior event is. So these guys know these courts pretty well. K.H. Lee won it last year with a solid Sunday performance. He's sitting back there. He's like 35-1 right now. I think the winner could come from behind very well. So give me K.H. Lee over Charles Schwartzel. We'll go with him and keep it rolling in golf. Rooting in a lot. So yesterday and for the full week picks, golf all over it. Yesterday went 2-0. We had Xander in a 3-ball matchup over. Forgot who he was over, but he won handedly in that matchup. And then we also had a Bo Hostler over David Skins. That David Skins was my fade of the day yesterday. He was leading the tournament. But man, he got lucky as he drained a lot of long putts. He actually had a couple chip in. So we faded David Skins yesterday, and he had the highest total of the day. So that one was awesome. Mito Pereira is another guy. I don't know what he's doing so far today, but that man is for the full tournament, for the live plus top 10. I like him top 20. We got him all over. He hasn't hit a putt all weekend. Yesterday we picked Davis Riley. That was one. He is +6. He was +600 to place top 10, and +250 to place top 20. He shot 8 under yesterday, so rooting him in, and same with Brandon. Woo! All right, back to hoops, back to hockey. I think that Vegas sets these numbers for these totals on Game 7s a little bit under the juice in one way or another. They just kind of understand it. Like you look at that hockey, Flames and the Stars. It's probably going to go under. I know the first period unders have been pretty damn popular in my opinion. I'm a big fan. But second period overs is the same thing. It's kind of like a little letdown before the third period. These referees, I had talked to one of my buddies who big hockey fan, and I asked if there's been more penalties over the past couple first round. And Boston versus the Hurricanes, that series, they had like 65 penalties, something absurd through the first 6 games. It's like the same thing as in basketball or anything. Fouls lead to more points. Penalties lead to more shots, lead to more opportunities. And if you look at Game 7 last night, all those games, they ate the whistle time after time after time. There's so many opportunities, could have been penalties leading to power plays and whatnot, but the refs don't want to be the reason teams lose. They eat the whistle for better or worse, one way or another. If you have the skin in the fight for one of these squads, it's tough seeing that. There was a couple in the Bruins Carolina one that could have gone either way, multiple different times. A high stick, a hook, a hold, interference. There was all kind. If it's not blatantly obvious. As a matter of fact, it took Carolina with a delay a game penalty, throwing the puck out of the rink to get a penalty. So it's tough, and that's why I like the unders in the Game 7s in the hockey. Completely different reason for NBA, but it's the same concept, same idea. The only difference is Vegas didn't really adjust for the hockey unders. So yesterday, those lines were all sitting at 6.5, the same lines they were sitting at through the first 6 games. Now the Flames and Stars, that's down to 5, which isn't surprising because that's the only first round total that was really sitting around that 5 mark. And people are hitting that over. I don't mind the under in that one. Just keep it going all the way low, Stars and the Flames. But Penguins, Rangers, going on the road I don't even know if Sydney's playing. That's a later thing here to check out. But here nor there. I'm not the big hockey guy. If you like hockey, check out Justin, Jimmy, Jack, one of those guys over there. Check out what they got going on with some hockey. So back to the Suns and the Mavs. If you're just catching in, you can rewind. You can go check out everything. Got a lot of good insight on the Bucks and the Celtics early on, and I just wanted to keep it rolling. It's a good day. I'm feeling good. It's 4 Game 7s. I wasn't planning on talking about both games, just one or the other, and then I got so fired up about the Bucks and the Celtics, I just ended up rattling off for 10 minutes about all my stuff that I like. So, got the juices flowing. We'll keep it going. Coffee's kicking. Suns and the Mavs, Game 5. It was in Phoenix. I had the Mavs in Game 5. I thought they looked phenomenal through the first half. They were, nothing out of the usual. It was just a great back and forth game. It was tight. In the third quarter, the Mavs turned the ball over. I think it was like 70% of the possessions, something I've never seen out of the Mavs before. It's hard to explain in a write-up. You talk about the Mavs and their ability to take care of the ball, and then in the third quarter, they turned it over 15 times. They're out of whack. They're out of sorts. They get just destroyed. They look distraught. They didn't know what hit them. And I have never seen Luka like that in his entire career. I've never seen him sped up. I've never seen him out of control. Game 5 in Phoenix, he was lost. Booker was in his head. He was sped up. He was terrible. I said in my write-up for Game 6, I've never seen anything like it. Going back home, we're going to run it right back, and we're going to take the Mavs again. Halfway through the game, halfway through the fourth quarter, the Mavs had 2 turnovers. They do not turn the ball over. It's one of those things, same with the Grizzlies-Warriors series. I said the reason we take the Grizzlies day in, day out, it doesn't matter, nothing's going to change, is because they forced turnovers, and the Warriors had the second most turnovers in basketball this year. Against a feisty team, you're going to turn the ball over more. You're going to lead to more opportunities. If Golden State doesn't have 30 offensive rebounds, Memphis wins that game easily. I don't even think it would have been tight because they were beating them on all other ends of the court. Kevon Looney and Andrew Wiggins, these cats dominate the offensive glass, give these guys second chance opportunities. These are the things that will kill a team, lead to points, and shoot. We'll see that. We saw that with the Mavs, and I don't think we see that again. I think that Luka has kind of understood what's going on. Game 7, I think that the Mavs first half, it will be my play. Whether or not the Mavs are able to hold on throughout the course of the game will be a little different. So Luka, Brunson, you look at these guys, they don't have the option to go big. if they go big and try to match DeAndre Ayton on the outside and do these things, they're going to get beat playing Suns basketball. If you're an underdog, you got to play different. You have to be able to create your own mismatches. DeAndre Ayton is one of the best defensive big men in the game. He's got phenomenal footwork for a true big man. But when you put him on the perimeter, onto a guard, it is night and day. It's the same with Rudy Gobert. It's the same with these guys. You got to take your punches. You got to take it for what it's worth. DeAndre Ayton is probably going to go for 20 and 10. I love him to have like 15-plus rebounds or, do those kind of things. So very important there. I think DeAndre Ayton, if the Suns win, has to dominate. He's got to do what Looney and those guys did to give them extra possessions and dominate the boards, dominate the glass, do everything, do the little things. But I don't think that's the case. I think that early on in this game, you're going to see Max Kleba, Bertanis, the 5-wide set of the Dallas Mavs. It puts DeAndre Ayton on the perimeter, and he's either got to switch onto Luka in that pick and roll, or, you got to have to go with a trap defense or something. And the Mavs have 3 great shooters on the perimeter at almost all times. They've got Jalen Brunson, who's another one, doesn't turn the ball over. So these guys here, very, very, very dangerous in my opinion. So give me the Mavs first half and shoot. I think the Mavs are live. They are live dogs. It will take DeAndre Ayton 100%. He has to dominate, because if he doesn't dominate, then they are looking at, doesn't turn the ball playing over. Mavs basketball at that point. Here, so very, very, very dangerous. No good. Opinion, so Mavs. Give me the Mavs first half. I think I'm about out of here. That's about all I got. If anybody has any questions, concerns, props, shoot it in the comments. I'll stick around for a little bit. They are live dogs. It will take DeAndre talk about some golf, later matchups, or anything really. There's some live numbers. Actually, that is one thing I will say. For those of you who are still sticking around, I appreciate it. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. I'm Ghost Patrick. No good. First time I think I've mentioned that the whole time. Give me the Mavs first half. I'm about out of here. That's about all I got. Sports betting 101. Get some good numbers. Some good insight, in my opinion. And with that being said, talk about some golf. Xander Schauffele was one of these guys too. He's actually 3 under today. I think that live Xander Schauffele could win this tournament. I said the same thing about a couple guys that were like 7, 8 back, and now that he's already kicking 3 through 6, it might be a little too late. I said that yesterday, but here nor there. But guys like Bo Hostler, Davis Riley, one guy that I actually think in particular, Xander Schauffele, Jason Kokrak is another one. If you like any of these guys, so if you're into the golf game and you like any of these guys that are sitting 6, 5 back, that are over 100 to 1 odds to win, I think a little $5 bill, nothing too crazy on one of these guys. Last year at the same exact track, a lot of the guys at the top of the leaderboard pretty much stayed where they were at. They were almost 20 under, 21 under. It's almost the same as this year, heading into the 4th round. And guys like Speed, if you like any of these guys, so if you're only shot 1 under, they didn't attack the course the same ways. These guys from the morning wave were actually able to make a comeback. And given how easy this course is playing in the morning, there's a couple guys that I think could very well go out and shoot 9, 10 under, and guys at the top of the leaderboard, Lord forbid, some shit happens in the afternoon, and these guys are catching those tough, maybe a little bit of late wind or something like that. So guys like Davis Riley, who has a streaky putter, 8 under yesterday, Bo Hostler, Texas Cat himself, K.H. Lee at 35 to 1, won it last year. He's only 4 strokes back. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm saying here. You go 5 or 6 strokes back, and a guy like Christian Basin, who not as big a fan of him. If you like any of these guys, I think it's definitely worth a little sprinkle on them to make their run and maybe win this tournament from a long way back. 10 under here is not crazy. So saying that Munoz and Speed kind of just spin their wheels, maybe 3 under, you're looking at a winning score of 23 under. If you think they can hit that, if they're within 8 or so shots, 8, 9 of 23, 24 under, it's worth it. Abraham Lincoln, if you don't don't mind me. Shoot, I think that's about all we got. Wrapping it up. Thanks for tuning in. Go Six Patrick. It's a beautiful day for Game 7. I've got not shit to do. So there's a good chance I'll be back here live with that Celtics-Bucks game. I will be rooting in the Bucks second half. With all of that. If they're within 8 or so shots, 8, 9 of 23, 24. Mavs first half. Worth the Abraham Lincoln if you don't mind. Bucks second half. Good luck. God bless. Drive on. Keep through there. Some player props. There's some wild ones. Grayson Allen unders across the board. I like those. So there's a good chance I'll be back here. I like DeAndre Ayton rebounds, extreme overs. Some alternate lines over there. Game 7s, I like the superstars to do their thing. Luka, Tatum, Booker, Giannis, a 30-plus point parlay prop across the board for those cats. Wouldn't be anything too much of a long shot, I don't think. I'm not a square by any means, but some people like to have fun. Some people like to take those overs. And in any case, I think these guys have a pretty good shot, and they're undervalued if anything. Game 7s, they're going to get 45 to 48 minutes, so anything on their rebounds, point total. I like rebounds specifically, and point totals for superstars. Rebounds are an opportunity statistic that kind of just happens from being there by any means. So some people like to have fun. Give me a little added motivation, guys like Nikola Jokic, and obviously he's not playing today, but he's a superstar. If you look at his Game 7 numbers, his rebounds get like a 4-point uptick. His points average goes up by a pretty good point too. Happens all the time. So target those guys, superstars, roll, and shoot. If you want to go for, if you have one fan, this is the last thing, and I'm out of here. If you're a fan of one player and you think one player could win a game, coaches in Game 7s ride a hot hand. So if you think, if Grayson Allen is your guy, go ahead and hit a 5, like for him to hit 4+ 3-pointers, something like that. Coaches will find the hot hand and they will ride them. So it usually is only one guy, if anything, maybe Steve Kerr in Game 6 in Chicago, if you want to go 5 or whatever it may be. Those role players, it's usually just one, not two. Good luck. God bless. Grind on. Let's have a Sunday. I'm out of here. I will be back live, 100%. I'll be watching the Celtics game live on YouTube. I might even fire up Twitch or something like that. Good luck. I'm out of here. Let's go see.